I'm Bob Grove, and we're talking with people from EF21, Kansas City's 2021 Earth Festival, running April 17th and 18th. And Rianon, you were telling us about microplastics. Continue on, tell us more about that food chain.
Yeah, so I'm looking at how how microplastics are trophically transferring throughout aquatic food webs and kind of like what that can mean for us, because studies have been showing that, we are ingesting some form of microplastics. They're getting everywhere. I'm also looking at like where microplastics are being lodged. So like upper GI versus lower GI and kind of what that means for the organism. So I'm hoping to, talk more about like our freshwater sector and how microplastics are affecting that, because microplastics in freshwater are the least studied. Like most energy goes towards microplastics and the effects in ocean, marine organisms, which is very, very important, but like the freshwater sector gets overlooked. But I also do plan on covering some of like what we've been seeing in the ocean, and then hoping to cover some of like what has been studied or has been seen in kind of like human effects. Like microplastics is still a very, very new field. So we don't have, all these studies yet. We just don't know the impacts, but, we're starting to speculate more on the effects that these microplastics have. And I hope to cover that. And I hope the presentation's engaging. So, yeah.
Well, thank you. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, this is a subject that I'm fascinated with. I mean, the microplastics, which impacts us here, but also the microfibers that are getting into the water systems and such. So I'll look forward to that. Your event is Sunday at 2 p.m., I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah. On the 18th at 2, y'all come out and see it.
Thank you. Kristan, you're with KC Can Compost, and you and Heather and Adison, we have several people here today from your group, and you've got a really interesting program. I mean, obviously composting, KC Can Compost, but your program is called Compost and Compassion. Interesting title. Tell us about that.
Yes, so our presentation will be on the 18th at 4, I think. Check that with me. And it is called On Compost and Compassion, a solution to complex crises of social and environmental justice. And essentially what KC Can is, we are both a social and environmental enterprise. So in listening to everyone today, we can just see the interconnectedness of each one of these speakers. I'm really excited to hear each of these presentations. From our end, we are committed to trying to deal with a piece of the food waste chain and provide our city with a very systematic method, a unified method for organic waste, food waste in particular management, that could be implemented, across commercial urban sectors. At the same time, our focus is on promoting and actively working. I think, David, you brought that word up, and I was talking to our team about that earlier. It's like, what is our action? What are we actively doing now with the information we have? So from the outset, compost and compassion seem like an odd pairing, but essentially what we would like to explore a little bit is why we think they're intricately connected, and why we believe our environmental goals and issues of social justice, being one problem, can be solved with single solutions as well. So we believe there's incredible opportunity right now for businesses, organizations to adapt to the needs of our culture, again, the environment and the vulnerable communities that you're exploring, Matt, in your film, are one issue. So with that, I'll turn it over to Adison a little bit to discuss how our Green Core training program comes into that. And then Heather can explain a little bit more about our operations on the environmental side.
Yeah, thank you, Kristan. So KC Can Compost is addressing both environmental and social crises by offering its Green Core training program to individuals that are facing significant barriers to employment, like homelessness. So this is a free program that we're offering that utilizes 2 nationally renowned curricula to provide environmental literacy and work readiness training. So part of the environmental literacy curriculum is exposing our trainees to more than 125 different jobs in 6 sectors of the green economy. So those 6 sectors are buildings, energy, food and agriculture, transportation, waste, and water. So while the work readiness training, we're focusing on soft skills development or people skills. So research shows that actually 85% of our success in our workplace is based on having well-developed soft skills, while only 15% of our success in our workplace is based on our hard skills or what we know and can do. So this training is designed not only to help people become self-sufficient while working within a green industry, but it's also training them to become advocates for and to affect environmental change.
Yeah.
Cool. Heather.
So in addition to our offering our Green Corps training program, KCCAN provides a food waste collection and diversion service so that businesses and organizations and schools across the Kansas City metro, they can turn their food scraps and other organic matter into nutrient-rich compost instead of sending it to the landfill to create greenhouse gases like methane. KCCAN wants to make composting organic matter very simple and convenient. So we've created a system to take all the guesswork out of implementing an in-house organics diversion program. Our presentation for EF21 Climate University is going to dig deeper into how we've addressed and removed the major barriers to implementing a diversion program. We'll also discuss how we specially design a program for each organization that we partner with that explains the why, the what, and the how of composting. And I believe that everyone tuning in on the 18th will find the composting compassion session very informative and realize just how simple it is to compost at work or school, as well as really better understand the significant impact they can have on climate change and social justice for our neighbors in our community, as well as around the world.
Great, thank you, Heather, Adison, Kristan. And again, your composting compassion, that's Sunday at 4 p.m. Which brings us to Craig and Ken, Heartland Renewable Energy Society. I mean, when we think about the whole climate change and all that, I mean, what's more climate change than renewable energy? Your presentation is called How to Go Solar the Right Way. That sounds really informative.
Yeah, and Ken is our current president. Raise your hand, Ken, so they know who you are. And our board is all involved in renewable energy and energy efficiency, all types of commercial and residential energy production. And we get a lot of questions about going solar. And when we get these questions, we have realized that there's a lot of blanks in people's minds about how they should proceed. And so what we want to do in our workshop on 5 o'clock on the 18th, I believe, is to give them some good information about how they should move forward and not waste their time, not waste their money, and make the system that they're going to purchase as effective for them as possible according to what their priorities are. And so we're going to be trying to get them to involve themselves in the entire pie of going solar, not just one sliver of it. And that really starts with them understanding energy efficiency basics, as well as solar basics. So we're going to be talking about what they should know about the energy efficiency of everything in their house, from the shell of their house to their appliances, etc. They also need to know about the windows in their house and what windows help them and what windows hurt them. And how they can use trees, for instance. Trees are a long-term project, but if they get started with it now, by the time energy costs even more than it does now, those trees will be in the right place to help them. They also need to know where the sun is, because the sun changes throughout the day. It also changes throughout the seasons, and fortunately it works for us. Another thing that they can do that it would be really smart is to get a professional audit or energy rating. And Ken, why don't you let people know what those things are, so they can, so that they'll know that we're going to be talking about those things too.
Yeah, thank you, Craig. A lot of people think, well, why do you want to talk about energy efficiency and involving a person like an outside third party home energy auditor or home energy rater right off the bat? Well, they're a home energy auditor or rater are advocates to try to help you figure out where your energy is being lost to begin with. So you're not putting an expensive solar energy system on a home that's going to immediately lose all the energy. Energy is valuable. That's how we look at it, whether you're getting it from the utility and paying for it that way, or you're getting it from the sun, but you're paying for a solar system one way or the other until it's paid off, which is nice. But bottom line is, since energy is not free per se in terms of getting it to your house, you got to have a system. What is the best way to do it? And a home energy auditor can help you with that. And to just quickly explain the difference, which I could spend the whole time explaining the difference between an auditor and a rater. Home energy auditors, in most parts, work to help people find where the energy is being lost, and they normally get their work from an energy utility or a government program, a rebate program. But also people are interested in getting residential energy tax credits for the installation of a new solar system, or they want to have their home, maybe they want to build a new home and have it certified as Energy Star, or things like that, or even go after an energy mortgage, which most people don't know that they exist and how beneficial they are. That you have to involve a certified home energy rater. So we will touch on that more during our talk, because it takes a little bit of time to explain that. But what we try to advocate for, or get people to understand, is it's a little bit complex to go solar, so you need to have someone helping you out.
It's really great, Ken and Craig. I mean, solar energy is really sounds like a nuts and bolts class that everybody's going to benefit from. So thank you. I want to thank all of our guests for joining us tonight. You can find details about each of their EF21 events on the Climate Council of Greater Kansas City's website. That's www.climategkc.org. EF21 online runs April 17th and 18th and is co-sponsored by KKFI 90.1 FM, Kansas City Community Radio. Details again at www.climategkc.org. Thank you for listening. This is Eco Radio. I'm your host, Bob Grove.